Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining today. Welcome to Power to Summit Vancouver 2020. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cora Rose. I'm the Corporate Relationships Lead for Power to Be. Today's meeting, we'd like to start off with our land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge with respect the Coast Salish people's land we are fortunate enough to live, work, and play, and whose historical relationships with the land still continue to this day. Thank you so much. Just admitting some people here. You guys, so to begin, we are just going to go through just a couple household items. This is our first time doing a webinar as sort of Zoom information session. So we really want to make it feel as comfortable as possible. This is a new event for Power to Be. So if you have questions, we want you to be able to feel comfortable enough to raise your hand, and we will talk about the questions right when you have them versus waiting to the end, because it might prompt some others to have some other questions about the event itself. As well, just keep yourselves on mute and then just unmute yourself if you have a question. We have Kirsten and Ashley on the background. They're going to be monitoring people sort of in the group chat if you want to put questions within there. And for those that couldn't make this, maybe you have some other team members you might want to share this with. We are recording this right now, so we will be posting this to the Facebook page after. So let's begin. So you guys, talking about the history of Power to Summit. So what you're seeing here is on the bottom right-hand side, it might be your left-hand side, depending on the view, that's a photo of Tim Cormode, our founder and CEO of Power to Be. What happened was 10 years ago, him and some of our other supporters, they decided to hike Kilimanjaro to raise awareness and to raise funds for Power to Be. 10 years later, before COVID hit, we were always going to celebrate this anniversary. And then obviously we had to shift gears. Some of you have raced in Power to Play, and of course, in-person events aren't possible anymore. So we thought what a better way would be to create a virtual and physical hike of Kilimanjaro. So that's where we came up with the idea, sort of in the spirit of Power to Be, being playful, having team spirit, having best dressed. Teams of 4 get to virtually summit Kilimanjaro and physically do it. So it's really exciting for us to be able to share this opportunity with you, and as well keep it tied in to sort of the spirit of Power to Be. As you guys remember, Power to Play is in most of our events. We really want you to relate back to what the participants go through. So whether it's mental, physical, or emotional, how can we sort of share that experience with you versus doing sort of a 5-kilometer walk or a 10K run. We really wanted to sort of push the barriers and help you relate back to what the purpose of the organization is. And that is really accessing nature and be able to break down the barriers of getting into them. Just a technical glitch. Hold on, folks. So you guys, the next thing I want to talk to you about is what we've kind of been pushing is this Power to Summit race resources page. So all the information that I'm going to be discussing on this Zoom and webinar today is available in the Power to Summit race resources. If you've forgotten the link, email myself or Shay or Kirsten or Ashley. We will resend it to you. It's also available in all the MailChimp emails that we've been sending out. So feel free to use that link. So what's up next on what you need to know? As I was talking about, we have the Power to Summit Facebook group. We have quite a few people that have already signed on to it. But part of this event was, yes, no, we can't do it in person. So how do we still create community? Because that's what Power to Be is about, is really embracing the community. So what we did is we created a Facebook group where we're hoping you'll be able to share the photos, talk about the elevation games that you're making, ask questions, we'll respond, and make it more of a conversation in order to do it. So all you need to go is to Power to Summit Vancouver on Facebook, and we will accept you if you want to be part of the group. As well, it's great to see some of the other photos that people are posting. They're getting really into it. Obviously, there's still prizes for best dressed. We have 5 different prizes for Team Spirit. That's brought to you by our Maximizer sponsor. So here's an example. So some people have already posted some, which is so freaking awesome. It's about being playful. Part of it is the Telus social media challenge, which you can win 4 Samsung tablets. So just be sure that you tag Power to Be, you tag Telus, as well as your team name, and hashtag Power to Summit. As well, we are encouraging people to do a minimum of 2 posts prior one post prior to the actual race day and then one during. And if you do the 2 posts, you're able to summit with us and be entered in to win all those awesome prizes. So here's an example, Brenda Nori, they did a group shot, a collage shot. And so you can get creative. We can't obviously all be together throughout this race. So feel free to make a collage, make it silly, talk about your race. We really are encouraging that. Okay, you guys, those race incentives. So in the traditional sense of all the Power to Be events that you may have experienced, we always have fundraising incentives. We're here to raise some money for Power to Be to support our participants. So the first incentive is $1,000. If you and your team can raise $1,000 before September 18th, you will be able to start at a higher elevation, and that elevation is Makme Gate on the Makme Gate route trail. So the $1,000 gets you at an elevation of 1,640 meters. That means you get to start at that much elevation, meaning you and your teams of 4 collectively only have to do 4,255 meters. So it works out per person just over 1,000 meters, which is awesome. Because if you look at something like the Grouse Grind, that's 833 meters, you basically only have to get another 150 and you're done. And you have 3 days to get this over. So that's amazing. The next incentive is $2,000. If you and your team raise $2,000 prior to September 18th, not only do you get that elevation incentive, you also get entered into a draw to win a $400 gift certificate to Nightingale or Hawksworth Restaurant here in Vancouver. So there's some pretty great prizes to be won, and we really hope that we can see those fundraising efforts. If you have any questions about sort of the fundraising links, how to get the communication out, how to raise awareness, we understand this is a different sort of fundraising climate than it has been in the past, and right now those micro donations, the $5, the $10, the $20, that really makes a difference for us, and it's really important that we meet everyone where they're at. So I also want to tell you about the racer kits. So these are the racer kits that are being sent out. So by this Friday, if you and your team raise $250, each racer will receive a racer kit. And then there's some Power to Be swag, there's some water bottles, there's some Cliff Bars. It's pretty awesome. There's also a nude beverage, which is brought to you by our Petro Value Fuel Your sponsorship. And of course, there's the bib. So we've made these customized Power to Summit buffs, which you can wear on your hat. I look pretty good, I think. Or great times for a mask. So that's great, and we're hoping, so again, that's $250 by this Friday by end of the day, and we will mail out the racer kits to you this next Monday. So Monday, I believe, is the 13th or 14th. Okay, now looking over where we're at for fundraising. We are at $52,350. Great job, everyone. That is amazing. I'm super stoked about it. We don't really have a target this year because we didn't really know what to expect with COVID obviously influencing people's financial capabilities, but every dollar counts right now. For those of you that don't know, we are running programs. Programs has drastically changed. It looks different. However, it's really important that we are still able to serve our participants. We actually have a Power to Be facilitator team racing this year, and I'd love to see if maybe one of the Vancouver Power to Be members would like to speak. I think Manu, I believe you're online if you want to unmute yourself and share your video.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sweet. So my name is Manu. I'm part of the Vancouver team, and we have full staff racing. Pretty stoked. Yeah, and just kind of a small story about what program looks like for us. So August, we started doing household program, and then just a quick story of like the impact on what we're doing. We had a paddleboard program 2 weeks ago. It was the first time for this participant to come back on program since probably a snowshoe in February. And then as soon as she arrived on program, we were at Benson Lake doing the paddleboard programs. She started to cry because she was overwhelmed and she felt really grateful just to be able to just be on program with us. She's always wanted to paddleboard, and she just didn't feel the confidence to do it on her own. So she was just super stoked to be with us and to try that activity, just like in a safe environment. And it was pretty awesome to be just witnessing that as staff. And we always have those haha moments where we just, our heart is filled with just like what our participants are sharing with us. She is really stoked because now she's going to be able to go paddleboarding on her own. And that's what we want to do, is to be really want to empower our participants. So really giving them that just boost at the beginning, to be like, okay, yes, I can do it. I feel, safe with Power to Be to try this new activity. And now I'm ready to take it on and just go on my own and go with friends. So that's what we're all about. Thank you, Cora.
Thanks for sharing, Manu. Appreciate sort of you highlighting the impact of our programs. I don't get to go on too many, so it's great hearing those stories and understanding sort of where the fundraising dollars go to. So thanks for sharing that with us. Moving on, you guys, we're going to start talking about the race rules. Just give me a moment here. Just admitting a couple people. So looking at our race rules. So in typical standards, everyone is probably aware that we are 2 meters apart. So be sure that you're following your physical distancing protocols within your certain area. I will announce, you guys, we do have racers in Colorado, in Alberta, on Vancouver Island, in the UK, and even possibly in Thailand. So this has become a global event. I don't know all your protocols, but please abide to them. It is really important that we're being safe and that we're avoiding any risk right now. That's what's really special about this event, that regardless of where we are in next week and what COVID is sort of saying in what phase, we have the ability to be able to do this race by ourselves or with maybe a friend or a couple friends. And just please do keep social distancing. As well, this is a non-motorized event. Back to what I was saying before, we really want you to experience those physical, emotional, and mental barriers. So please, on your ascent, there is no motorized vehicles allowed. The other thing that you should remember is that our cutoff time that we have is on September 20th at 4 p.m. So all the elevation as well as the time needs to be entered in. And we'll get into how we're going to be tracking that in just a moment. But in order for you to receive the Act of Kindness Awards, all the money raised needs to be in by 4 p.m. as well. So looking at the route card, you guys, on the race resources, we have provided you with 2 options for route cards. We do highly recommend them. It's a really great way to monitor sort of where your racers are in the field. Obviously, you guys living in Vancouver, if that's where you're based, we have great access to some North Shore mountains that really you can get the great elevation, whether you're doing the Grouse Grind, whether you're going up Cypress, whether you're doing the Sea to Sky Summit Trail, whether you're on Whistler. But it's a great way. So if you fill these out, you have your start time, you have your end time, you plan sort of your planned route as well. You can put an emergency contact and ensure that you have snacks and water and any other supplies that you might need. So that is available on the race resources, and you can download that in advance and print it out, or you could have it on your phone just for a referencing tool. So you guys, now we're moving on to elevation and tracking, which I know is all of yours biggest questions. So a friendly reminder, the elevation and tracking and the timing of it is the responsibility of the team captain. So what's going to happen is that next week we will be emailing out a private link to each team captain, and what they will do is they'll learn how to track the system. So what you do is basically you have your team name. We will pre-populate this entry, so you will click your team name, you'd enter in that bib number. So the bibs you may have saw in the racer kit, they're the white bibs. We've created racer bibs because what we really heard from a lot of our racers was that all sort of competitive events have been completely canceled. And in order for you to have that tangible experience, we created these bibs as a representation to make you still feel like you're a part of something real. So we are asking your racers to race with the bibs. And as what we saw in the Victoria event is that you race the bibs, other people will identify you on the trail. So I'm actually going to be doing the grouse grind on Saturday. I'll be at the top. Your cheerleader, I'll be wearing my racer bib. So make sure you're wearing yours too. It's a great way that I can identify you, take some photos, hear about how tragic that hike was, and we can share the pain together. Also, there's a day here. So when you click on the day part, we have the opportunity to be hiking on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So ensure that you're entering in the right elevation. And then there's going to be a password, which we will provide you with. The only thing that you're not seeing on this page is that on the Sunday entry, there is going to be a time slot. And why we are only including it on Sundays, because we are asking for your total elapsed time that it took your elevation. So say if my team was me and 3 other friends, say her name was Leslie. Leslie told me that she did 300 meters of elevation on Saturday, and it took her 2.5 hours. I, as the team captain, would have to include that, and I'd write it down, whether it was in my phone or maybe in my notebook. And then at the end, I would include all the racers' elevation and time, and I would enter it in the time slot. So I would accumulate all of those times together. Once you enter in all this information, it will populate you to our virtual tracking system. So what you can see is you're going to have your team, and you'll be able to track where you are on the Makme Gate route, which is the same route that our founder took. So this is the actual trail that he took in order to hike Kilimanjaro. The other thing that you can do is you'll be able to see all teams. So all teams, meaning you can see just kind of between the approach and Makme Gate, there's some little dots. So you'll be able to see where the other teams are as well. And if you use your cursor, you can slide over that and see which teams are where. So it's a really fun sort of interactive tool that we will also be using on the Facebook page, and we'll be posting there as well. Now, you guys, to go over some awards and prizing. So as you all remember, there's the Act of Kindness Award. This is the top fundraising prize. So you'll get a full profiled page in the Globe and Mail of you and your team. That's why we were asking you, we need a unique team photo, because we're going to have to somehow put a whole team photo on the newspaper. And because this is an in-person event, we really need you to work together to make a collage or do a social distancing photo. You'll also get $500 GC to Brentwood Bay Resort and Spa. We also have been donated our Terex Atom hoodies, so you get 4 of those, 1 per racer. We'll do a customized fit for you. And of course, some Power to Be swag, we'll give you some hats. The other awards, we obviously, this is a timely event. There is a fastest team award. So you will receive a complimentary entry into the 2021 Power to Be event. You'll also do a Power to Summit trophy. The trophies are looking a little bit different this year. So if you look at that photograph, this is actually a trophy. It's a picture frame, custom built by one of our own staff. We're really trying to share the love and promote sort of the ability that, prizing and gifts can be made out of anything. So she's been using it out of natural driftwood. So that as well, you'll also receive a $250 GC to Global Restaurant Group. They have 9 different restaurants, so you can use it anywhere. And you get 4 $100 GCs to Fial Raven, any apparel that you like. Of course, you guys, I know through the Power to Play experience, there are some very competitive people out there. So we wanted to make fastest team and give you the first, second, and third awards. So the second fastest team will receive 4 GCs to Joe Fortes, as well as 4 Fial Raven backpacks. And the third one will receive the Power to Be crew neck sweatshirt. I'm not sure if any of you have seen, but we actually just started our own Power to Be store. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go on the website or check out our Facebook page. We have some awesome swag. I just got a sweater. You should do it too. Awards and prizing, best dressed. So you guys, best dressed, this is always the craziest thing. If you can hike and do your elevation in your costume and take photos of it, you have a chance to win the best dress award. And what you will be getting if you win that is 4 personalized fits by Lululemon and 4 Power to Be hats. So we're hoping to see some crazy sort of costumes out there. I will be racing in a King Kong onesie. I will be sweating. It will be awful, and it will be great all at the same time. Team Spirit, this is brought to you by our Maximizer CRM. They are our sponsor and they want to maximize your team spirit. So we have 5 different awards and 5 different prizes. If you want to learn more about the prizes, we have some awesome GCs to various clothing stores. We have a personal training session. We have some Power to Be swag. It's all available on the race resources page. And then, of course, as I spoke to you earlier, the Telus Social Media Challenge. Telus Social Media Challenge is so important to us because it really creates a fantastic awareness for Power to Be. So please post your group photos, your individual photos, hashtag Power to Be, Power to Summit, tag Telus, tag Power to Be, and that way we can really create sort of a more normalized reference. When you hear the word Power to Be, other people will start becoming more familiar with it. In race, you guys, there's going to be some in race prizes. So don't think that like just before the 18th that fundraising is over. There's some really great prizes. So in race, for the individual who raises the most, they will receive a $200 GC to the full group gift certificates. There's a men and a women's store. So that's an awesome one. And then the in race for the top fundraising team, you get the $250 each per racer to Brentwood Bay Resort and Spa. So that's an awesome prize valued at $1,000. And then there's one other thing, you guys, similar to this, we are going to be doing a post-race celebration. This is where we announce all the race winners, where we can crack those nudes, have a little bit of a celebratory drink, congratulate everyone, look at some sort of like funny photos together. And we do encourage everyone to do it. And if everyone does sign on, you will be entered into a draw to win a $200 gift certificate to the Fold group. So please do sign on to our post-race celebration. Any questions and things that I can answer? Ashley, is there anything there?
We just have a couple in the chat. Feel free to raise your hand if you did want to speak, but when is the post-race celebration?
Post-race celebration is at 5 p.m. on the 20th, and we will be sending out another Zoom link.
What does correct starting point mean?
Correct starting point. So depending on, you got that $1,000 raised prior to the event. So basically what happens is the elevation of Kilimanjaro is 5,985 meters. So if you raise $1,000 prior to September 18th, you get to start at that higher elevation. So you get to knock off 1,640 meters. If you don't raise $1,000, then you start at a 0 elevation.
Thank you, Cora. Manu has a question.
Yes, I have a quick question. It's easier for me to say than type it. For Friday, a question around when can we start hiking? We're just trying to figure out with Vancouver and the fact that you need day pass for certain hike. Is there a way we could start hiking like Friday morning, or does it need to start after 12 p.m.?
Great question, Manu. That brings up a couple other things. You guys, when you are looking, use that route card. When you are looking at the trails and areas you're going to hike, make sure you find out what the protocols are around. So for example, if you're doing the grouse grind, you have to take the gondola back and you have to pre-purchase your down gondola ticket, which is $20 prior to actually taking it, and they're doing it in time slots. I actually just hiked it on Monday to get a little training in for this coming weekend. So make sure that you're looking into that. And then Manu, the race does start at noon. I am sorry, you cannot start earlier. We start at 12 noon. High sun. Awesome. Anything else, Ashley?
I don't see anything.
Great. Well, you guys, if something pops up later, feel free to shoot me an email, shoot Shay an email, shoot me a text, no problem. I'm happy to answer anything. We just really want to say thank you so much for your support and sort of coming on this new experience with us, because it's been so different for us, but we really appreciate the long-term support that we've had from a lot of you, as well as the new faces here. It makes a huge difference for how we're able to support and run our program. So thank you so much. And I just want to thank our presenting sponsor, Newmont Canada, again, for all your support.
Cora, we did have one more question here. Do we include descent in our time?
You do not, I mean, some trails obviously go up and down. So if you're tracking using something like Strava, that will obviously be accumulated in it. But no, for example, if you were taking the gondola down or someone picked you up, you're just counting for your ascent in the race.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Corgos.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, guys.
Carlos.